Hello and welcome to this new podcast. Um, Let us start with the first question itself. Thank you for joining us. Um, when the word death comes to mind, what are your thoughts on it?
That I think first thought,
Yeah,
I think is free.
okay. Freedom in the sense of,
Freedom in the sense of, I think it is a fight for most of us, on a daily basis. In on, how do I put it? In all terms of life,
okay.
your work, your family, or all of that matters. So yeah, I think it's kind of a freedom and possibly a resting period most once you're there.
Okay.
That's what I think. I don't know how it is.
Yeah. So, freedom from responsibility of sorts.
Responsibility, yeah, you can say that. See, everyone is responsible in a way. We all do our best. I guess you get that break there, then you don't have to think anything. It's like possibly you're dead, so you don't know what it is you're thinking about people or not.
How do you, if is this a negative point of view or you look at it very peacefully?
I think peacefully.
Okay. So why would a normal rest of a say a good night's sleep or a vacation or doing something that gives you pleasure for a little while not be enough?
Acha. I think it is just entering in that sense, the little happiness. Possibly a limited time of period, but then again you're back into the whole. You don't know if you can call it a system or possibly a daily grind.
Okay. So does life weigh very heavy on you? Is that how you look at life?
Uh, Not really. In that sense, no.
Okay. Let's try and go to a different direction. What about somebody else's death? How do you view death of a close person or a relative or a friend? How do you view death of somebody else?
That of somebody else. I think it is subjective. If he's, possibly suffering from a long-term illness, and possibly if it is a year, 6 months, and then the death happens. So it is kind of a relief, possibly saying,
Yeah.
it
Okay.
must be happy now.
Okay.
Although you don't feel his pain, but still, mentally you want to create that picture. He might
Yeah.
be going through a lot of suffering, falana vinka, because possibly, you know, inside you are thinking, this is how it is, or it shouldn't happen to you, or whatever. On an intellectual level, you are trying to gauge things.
Yeah.
ये तकलीफ में होगा, but whatever he's going through, nobody knows. But yeah, because if you see overall, that is what the experience that you get, and that is why you feel, a sense of relief. If somebody who is not well for a long period of time,
So this is one aspect of
or
death.
somebody, if it is a sudden death, you feel a little shock. Of course, for a little period of time, not how it could happen, but it just happened, so you don't know how to react. Acha. And I guess different reactions for different.
Kinds of death.
Yeah.
Do you think that one can prepare for death at any point of time?
I think you should. In a way, it is very difficult, although I'm saying it casually right now.
Yeah.
But I think slowly and steadily you should start thinking because it is going to be difficult if you don't.
Have you done any kind of preparation, any kind of thoughts on your own mortality or any experiences where you faced pain of a very high order, or some kind of thoughts which are related to that about yourself?
In general, at times, sometimes I wouldn't say consciously or anything, but it generally just hits you, and then I try to think कि maybe if this is the last day, how would I behave or what would I do? Possibly, and I do for a brief period of time think कि I just want to be, chill in whatever that I'm doing, dealing with people or my own self or anybody else, and trying not to be reactive. Or
Okay.
that is what I am trying.
Are you successful? What are your experiences when you go through these kind of thoughts?
I don't know. I wouldn't say successful, but I think it is a stepping stone, possibly towards possibly right now. Maybe my mind might be inducing those kinds of thoughts, which are actually making me feel कि यार, I am in that state of calm. But I don't know who knows, and I don't know if at that particular moment also if I can cheat my brain
Yeah.
or whatever happens at that thing, if things comes, flashes in front of you or thoughts. So if I could train my mind to become like that, then I think I have achieved something which I am looking forward to.
Yeah. So you think life itself is training ground for our last moments so that we figure out a way to be what you call chill, or somebody else may
Yeah, I
call.
think once we all have been through, actually, I don't know about others, but I have been through. Initial period is always, you just want to do. You don't even think about all these things. But over a period of time, I think maturity. I don't know if maturity or whatever it is
Yeah, yeah.
makes you think or realize, and that clarity it just comes up, and so possibly you start seeing it in real terms, and then you realize that these are the things one should work towards. Ideally, how successful you might be, that's a different story, but yeah, you can give it a shot, because that is the only logical thing that one can see, training yourself to do. बाकी rest तो over a period of time we have developed so many habits, वो निकलते निकलते
Okay.
it takes time.
So essentially, if I understand you correctly, just correct me if I'm right about my assumptions, what you're saying. So you're saying we have certain habits that help us make us move through life, but at the same time, we should give importance to these thoughts of personal mortality or death at different points, just to gauge where we've reached in terms of being peaceful with
Yeah.
that idea
Yeah,
itself.
yeah. Also, it shouldn't be like a sudden shock then. If you don't, if you think you're immortal, then the actual time, or period, you don't know when it can happen. It can happen any moment. So this is again all. I think, how do I put it? It is possibly whatever knowledge that you have read, gained, basis on that. So again, there is a analysis on how it would be. That is what my brain has done, more than self-experiential.
Yeah.
So I am looking at possibly it is like a collective read or knowledge that I have, and what would be the best. So I'm going with that.
What about people that you've been close to, those who passed away, and when you've gone through those emotions of uh, different kinds of emotions? Some
Yeah.
people become fearful, some people become very responsible, some people, or maybe it is a mix of all these things. So, what have you had any kind of experience where someone close to you has passed away, and what was your experience like?
I think I lost my father recently,
Okay.
but yeah, I had, we won't call it mixed reaction, but yeah, I mean, see that the period 1 week or so, you didn't think about it. It comes natural, I guess, because
Yeah, I would want to know what is the idea to know this is more about giving peace to somebody who's going through it and finding oneself confused and helpless.
yeah. So you always, possibly most of the times, you want to be sure कि you had a good relationship. You always did the best in his in his old age.
Yeah,
So that questioning will always be there.
okay,
Was I a good son or did I do good?
true, true.
Even if you have done,
The best possible.
the best possible thing that you had, but it'll always come, and possibly that is the moment when you should think, no, I did the best that I could, and now jo bhi hai, whatever that law is, it'll take care. Because other than that, you cannot judge what is happening on the other side of the law.
Yeah. Do you think an experience like this has changed your living style? Have you become more calmer, kinder, or it has no difference and it's only very temporary during the time that one is going through that kind of agitation? One decides, oh, I'm going to be a better person, I'm going to do this. But as soon as that sorrow or that period of mourning passes, do you think you've gone back to what is seen as practical living, quote unquote, of course?
Hmm. I think it is over a period. I mean, we become less kind of emotional. When I say emotional, I don't let my feelings, dictate.
The situation.
Yeah. So that helps me clarify things more faster for my own self rather than for
Yeah.
everybody else. And then I think in that process, things becomes easier to deal with. So
Okay. But does the hurt be the same, or it's easier to see the hurt in a different context also?
personally, I don't really feel the hurt in
Okay.
terms of being emotional. Of course, the loss is there, but
Yeah.
mourning on that is I possibly to overcome that. I don't know to overcome. It doesn't come natural to me.
Okay.
I would say
Is
that.
this a sense of acceptance or is this a sense of running away from the situation, according to you?
That is what I said earlier. Your mind would say it is running away. It is running away, but I think it is acceptance. So that initial period is a little bit fight between
Okay.
acceptance or running away. Acceptance
This
or
is
running away. But I
actually
think it is the acceptance. But that grief period, because that grief dominates you.
yeah.
At least that is what I think. And because of that dominance, you tend to shift a little bit towards the grief bit, and you don't accept it. But yeah, once, because you keep thinking again and again, it comes natural to you, in those periods.
Yeah.
So I think the acceptance eventually overtakes things.
So now this brings me to a very interesting question. What I understand, so acceptance is not as easy as it sounds like saying I accept. Uh, but at the same time, you're saying it's over a period of time you kind of uh, go through the motions, whatever is you
Yeah.
accept in terms of, okay, right now I'm grieving, right now I am a little more comfortable. And then there is a sense of acceptance where you realize that the loss is real and you hold on to the memories and you move on.
Yeah.
Uh, so is this process of acceptance only due to compulsion that life brings to you, or is there anything conscious you've done in terms of understanding life or death better? Has
Oh
there
yeah,
any-
yeah. There is a little bit of effort in understanding, both life and death, and I guess that is that part of acceptance has helped in, possibly dealing with these situations.
What have you done? Would you want to specify something in terms of how your understanding is being worked upon?
I think I do, practice meditation.
Okay.
So that is slightly, and that is what the change.
Okay.
When I say slightly, means the change has happened over a period of time.
Okay. So there is no sudden burst of light and you suddenly see the light and there is a lot of wisdom that comes in. You're saying that it is hard work and a lot of it is gradual and sometimes you may not even realize that it is the new you that is dealing with it. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, over a period of time, definitely. Because you also don't realize until people start, telling you, okay, boss, you've changed, you have changed, you have changed. And for you, it is like, even though the change is happening, it is so subtle. You realize it, but you don't pay attention ki kya ho raha hai, because the new is happening and you
Okay.
just move.
I was asked a very interesting question by a teenager because you brought up meditation. She was talking to me and she said, is there any alternative to meditation? So, what is your answer to that?
Alternative.
To find the same kind of peace and joy that, or at least acceptance. Is there any alternative to that?
I don't know. There might be an alternative. Ultimately, what is meditation if you don't look at it in terms of a very heavy word? Because when people say meditation, it means usually some sadhu or somebody sitting and some spiritual monk. But if you look at it, it is like any other tool.
Okay.
So it is a simple tool. It is like going to a gym and using a machine to work out.
Okay.
As simple as that. It is how I can put it.
So you're saying that one need not mystify or glorify meditation as a separate object from life and something very sacred.
Yeah.
You're saying it's an everyday tool, and the more
In
you
fact, if you start practicing whatever kind of meditation you do, and if it doesn't, I mean, most of them they're like tools. So I think it is like a habit pattern. So once you get into it, you feel good. Same with people going to the gym every day.
okay, one
It's just the going to a gym will strengthen you outside. Meditation will strengthen you inside.
okay.
So you can do both.
So is this just to play the devil's advocate a bit? How is this different from being delusionary, or does it not matter at all? So because you said habit pattern, the words habit pattern. So certain people have habits like they read books when they are stressed, or they listen to music, or they dance, or they do different things. So if somebody else is doing meditation, is it different? Is it same? What is your experience? I am talking about this in context of when you say meditation has helped you deal with the grief of death or what we sometimes call impermanence in certain circles. So how do those habits differ from the habit of meditation, or does it not matter?
I think again, if we just speak meditation in terms of a tool, then it will simplify things because that tool can be used, even when you're reading a book for that matter. So if you feel down, maybe initially you might say, "Boss, this is the easiest way for me to escape." Start reading a book.
Yeah.
You read a book, possibly in the next 5 minutes, possibly you can make use of the tool and see if somehow you can. It's not a bad habit reading a book, or for that matter, anything else. It's just you're letting your brain do things which you don't want to. So that balance, ideally, being the master of your own self or controlling your brain is what ideally it should be. So it's the same. If you feel like reading a book, I think by all means you can read one. It's not a bad habit.
Yeah. So in that sense, you're saying try whatever you want to, be dedicated to it if you can be, and see if it works for you. Or else keep trying tools, and meditation can be one such tool that one can try to ease the mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in terms of um, self growth, we've been talking about negatives so far, and you've come to a point where you kind of explained your take on meditation and how it has worked for you. Once you've taken this path of meditation or this sense of self acceptance, as well as acceptance of different kinds of grief, where you find yourself you're a little better equipped
Right.
than before.
Right.
Has it also made any other changes on you in terms of your daily living, in terms of your business, work, personal life? Because you did mention other people have been finding changes in you, but suppose that is an outside perspective. What is your inner perspective of how you're dealing with the world? Has it helped you at any point of time?
I absolutely. I think yes, it has.
Could you give us some examples if you can?
Example per se. Yeah, in terms of even possibly your business or dealing with people.
Okay.
When I say the expectation level is really low, that does not mean I'm saying negative. In general,
Yeah.
it is you go ahead, you do your best, whatever it is. You just take it and come back, which was not earlier.
Okay.
Earlier, if you had to chase a client, you chased him for 6 months, which is again not a bad thing, but then in terms of work or whatever it is, you carried that thing everywhere, or your failure, most importantly, of not getting a project or not finishing a project or whatever it is, or not getting a business, not earning enough money. I think somewhere it has helped you to think clearer.
Okay, so you're saying there is a lesser sense of quote unquote ambition in terms of aggressive ambition. Obviously, since you're pitching for a project, you're interested in the project, you're putting your best, you kept using the term that you try your best, you try your best.
Yeah.
So that means you're pitching with all that you have, all the resources, mental, physical,
Right.
that you have, and yet you are also talking about low expectations in the sense of that you put in everything and you left the results to whatever they are, because more or less you come to an acceptance that they may not be in your control.
Right.
So which is how you correlated with something which we had mentioned in another talk, was like death of a concept, of death of an idea, that you have an idea that my client will behave like this, or the accounts will clear my payments at this point of time.
Right.
So you allowed the death of the idea as you have it and brought it down to manageable level so that it doesn't hurt you as much.
Bang on.
Wonderful. So thank you for joining, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
That's what is the talk for today. Thank you.
Thank you.